Hey guys, welcome back to Derez on Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, not here with Geeky Sparkles. She's out and about, but we're going to talk about video game news. We're going to talk about the paranormal. We're going to talk about tech, basically all the stuff that doesn't really fit neatly into a regular Clownfish TV video. Now, for those of you who are shocked that we're live streaming over here, actually, we've been doing Derez over on the Clownfish Gaming channel for like 2 years now. So, like nobody was paying any attention, and that's fine because we don't have nearly as many subs over there. So we get a couple dozen people come in, and it's kind of chaos over here on the main channel. But yeah, still trying to get a feel for the algorithm, because one thing I've noticed with YouTube lately is it's not sending notifications if you don't stream often. It doesn't tell people that you're streaming, or people don't believe you're streaming or something, right? Yeah, AL was there. AL was there at the gaming channel. Yeah, you were. Thank you very much. So we're going to move it over here because it seems like it just is a better fit over here, since we're covering news, and some of that news actually does, go outside of the gaming space, but it's all related. Like I said, this is kind of where we talk about the things that don't necessarily fit into a regular Clownfish TV video, or we get like odds and ends, and it gives us some time to chat with you guys. So we got some folks coming in. Thank you very much for coming in. I'm not very good at live streaming. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I muddle through it, but it's not something that we do often. We used to. It's been a few years. We used to actually do live streams at least once a week, I think. But that was, my God, probably 4 or 5 years ago. Sup guys. Let's see here. What do we got? Oh man, we got people coming in already. That's awesome. Let's see here. Grizzly Nightmare, thank you. You did not have to do that. Do you and Squid King like the old series Ultra Q? Yes, and so does my daughter. She's awesome. She likes all of that stuff as well. So, okay, so I think we're gonna get right into it, trying to make sure that the notifications are going out. We got some people coming in. That's cool. Let's see what we got. Who all do we got in here? We got AL, who's always here. Thank you. I think we had Traveling TARDIS in here. I think yeah, Legend of Traveling TARDIS. Yes, we've known each other for years, so that's cool. Let's turn this off. Well, let's turn this off here. All right. Somebody said we're haters because we didn't like Thunderbolts. Actually, no, my wife and kid went to go see Thunderbolts, and they liked it quite a bit. So you didn't watch the review. I didn't watch it. I have no interest in MCU anything, but yeah, she actually went to go see it, and she liked it. They actually liked it quite a bit. My son said that he would watch it again immediately as soon as it comes out on digital. So I can't vouch for it. I didn't watch it, but everybody I've talked to who's seen it, for the most part, actually did like Thunderbolts. Cynthia says, the real live Kneon. Yeah, it's so weird. Everybody's like, we don't know what you guys look like. I'm like, well, one, we were out there for years before we did YouTube, because we used to do conventions and stuff like that. And two, I've been on the gaming channel. My face has been on the gaming channel for at least 3 years, maybe 4 years. And I've gone on other people's podcasts, not like, I haven't done a lot of like big stuff, but yeah, every time I go on people's podcasts, I have my face, because I think it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to hide behind a cartoon avatar, right? So let's see here. Let's talk about some stuff. And things. I got a lot of news pulled up. Palworld doing Tides of Terraria. I think that's pretty cool. We've got this is coming from the gamer. Weirdly enough, is the gamer allowed to diss Assassin's Creed Shadows, because they're pointing out that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is beating Shadows. That's not good. We're going to talk about layoffs at Super 7. This whole thing, the thing with the tariffs is freaking weird, man. Like, I don't know what is going to happen, because they put like a 90-day pause, I guess, on it, the China tariffs, but all these toy companies, all these game companies are already laying people off. So if it all gets walked back, do the people who are getting fired, do they have recourse? I mean, I have no idea. It's very weird. I can honestly tell you, I don't recall seeing, industries just kind of buckle this fast. I mean, the pandemic, a lot of people shut down quickly, but they at least made an attempt, I think, to stay in business. But all these game companies, these toy companies are just like, yeah, that's it. We're done. We're calling it a day. So we'll talk about that. I think what's actually going on, and again, this is just a personal opinion because, we do watch the toy stuff. We do, collect toys. God, you should see the rest of the stuff. Geeky actually brought some more stuff over to the studio today, but we've been toy collectors for a very long time. We do watch that scene, and I think some of these companies aren't doing very well, and they're going to use the pandemic as an excuse to just like either trim the fat or go out of business or something. So yeah. Is there PDB? Is there any toy that's made 100% in the US? Some of like the educational toys and stuff. It's my understanding, like action figures and stuff like that, it's almost impossible to find somebody to make them in the US, at least at a decent price. I know a lot of people have checked and they're like, we're going to make everything in the USA. And then they realize it's going to cost them like $25 to make an action figure. And at that point, it's like, yeah, you're better off just like 3D printing them or something. That's kind of crazy. Let's see here. Have to turn the volume up. Yeah, I don't know. It's just going through StreamYard. So, what do you think about the movie tariffs? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I think everything is going to get tariffed to some degree, but I think a lot of it is saber rattling at first, just to kind of set the tone, like you will listen to us. But we'll see. What is going to happen, at least on the video game side of things, since we are going to talk mostly about video games and the paranormal. We're going to talk about UFOs. We're going to talk about UFOs later, and the Pope and UFOs. But I think what's going to happen is, again, these companies are going to use the tariffs as a reason to jack up the digital prices too, and then blame, what I'm saying? Like, I get it for physical media. I get that, right? I completely get it. I mean, we source stuff all the time. We have other businesses not related to this. I was just looking a couple of weeks ago, and the prices on some things have doubled. I'm not even kidding. So, I mean, there's a lot of panic going on, but they're going to use it as a reason, I think, to jack up the digital prices. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Jin. Speaking, hello. Yes, this is Jin Wong, who drew the Clownfish TV comic book a couple of years ago. If you guys missed it, we'll might reoffer it again sometime. We'll see. We'll see what we're gonna do. Hey Kneon, speaking of video games and paranormal, I sent you something. Okay, post has arrived at PO Box. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, we don't check the PO Box very often. I need to get over there. Maybe once a week, twice a month, maybe. But thank you very much. I'll be sure to check it out. Hey, thank you. We got a new member. Awesome. So let's see if I'm missing anybody here. I don't think so. All right. So let's see here. Let's talk about. I guess we'll talk about this. Let's talk about toys first. I mean, it's video game related, right? Kind of. I mean, they have action figures of video game toys. So Super 7 layoffs have begun. This is after they made a comment on tariffs. They said they were going to have an 8% surcharge on non-apparel items. And this is after, I know Entertainment Earth said that they were going to pass, I think it was Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, maybe both of them. They were going to pass the expense on to the customer. So if you had stuff pre-ordered, as I understand it, you would have to pay the tariff on that, which kind of sucks. They said we didn't come to the decision lightly. For as long as possible, we've worked to absorb these rising costs ourselves without passing them along to you. Unfortunately, the scale of these increases has made it unsustainable for us to continue to do so entirely. Even with the surcharge, it still doesn't cover the full impact we're facing. Yeah, again, stuff is costing twice as much. Now, these guys, they've got stockpiles of toys. I'm presumably, now I don't know if they're having them shipped from China to the US, but the stuff that's actually in the warehouses or their warehouses, wherever they store it here in the US, I mean, they don't have to pay on that again, right? I mean, part of me is like, do these people not have these different companies? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Do they not have reserves? Do they not have a place to store their stuff in the US? Because at that point, it already came through months or years ago. So we're doing everything we can behind the scenes to minimize the effect on our community. If conditions change or a better solution becomes available, we'll reevaluate this surcharge immediately. Super 7 has always been about more than just toys. It's about the people who collect them. We'll keep you updated. Yeah, that's not good. So that was like last week. And now this week, the layoffs have begun. So Super 7, who are known for making 7-inch Ultimate and 4-inch Reaction action figures, is a privately held company, so they aren't required to make any kind of public statements when it comes to things like layoffs. Funko, I believe, is public, and their stock, I guess, is doing pretty okay. I think I had that pulled up too. Now that they said that they reversed, or at least they're extending the time to talk about the tariffs. So Super 7 has made no formal announcements about this, so it's unknown how many people have been laid off. Yesterday, it was announced that the U.S. and China, where many toys are manufactured, had agreed to pause the current tariffs between the two countries for 90 days. So, yeah, though the U.S. does still have a 10% tariff in place on China because of fentanyl. Can I say that on a live stream? I don't know why I can say it on a live stream anymore. Like, they're so damn weird. The last time we live streamed regularly on the main channel, you were still not allowed to talk about COVID. Like, I think we did a couple of streams from different events, but like when we actually sat down to do live streams, you were not allowed to talk about the coof. We had to dance around it, and you couldn't talk about the remedy for the coof or any of that. It was very weird. Like you could acknowledge the most obvious thing going on that was affecting everybody in the world. It was so weird. There's a temporary pause in tariffs. Okay, so Mattel, Hasbro, Jakks Pacific, and Funko had a good day yesterday. Stocks went back up because they're like, okay, well, at least for now, they're going to get more stuff in and not have to pay through the nose for it. The uncertainty of the whole situation still continues to cause havoc. Even Hasbro, as I write this, still has new pre-orders on their Pulse website unavailable, which is something they did last Friday when it was expected they were going to be raising the MSRP. Prices on many action figures. That's the thing. It's only 90 days. We don't know what's going to happen. It's not going to be 145% or whatever insanity they were talking about. I don't believe. I think it's going to get worked out. And I think it was Trump. Can I say Trump? Am I allowed to acknowledge that Donald Trump is the president? So I think it was just about setting a tone, posturing, saying, hey, look, either you work with us or bad things are going to happen. That's my take on it. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's get some music going on here. Make sure it's not too loud. All right. So, hey, thank you, Jerry Time. Hey, fishy people, thanks for all the shows. Thank you. You're very welcome for that. Say Mr. T. Should I say Mr. T? Instead of, I used to call him the orange one. I kind of skirted around it with the orange one. I mean, it's hard to tell. Like, if you even mention the orange one in a video, sometimes it seems like, I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like it does affect how it gets picked up in the algorithm. I mean, they're saying that there's no bias over there, but like you're not even allowed to acknowledge anything political. It's very weird. YouTube is it's weird. And everything's being done with AI now too. So shifter, just in time delivery, no, or little warehousing. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Well, warehousing costs money. Now we have a very tiny warehouse. We for our books and stuff. We have it's one room in our little office building that we have. Emerald Ultima says, have you heard about Square Enix's 3-year reboot plan? I have not, but I wanted to talk about this because this I'm actually interested in, believe it or not. I'm not into Magic. I don't care about Magic at all, and I've been super critical of Wizards of the Coast, but dang it, this Final Fantasy set, I love the art. And it's probably all AI, but I love it. So this is what's coming out for this set. For those of you who are interested, as of May 14th, coming from the Gamer, Moogle Struggle. We got To the End. I mean, these look like they're just swiped from the games, but there's some really nice art in here. We have Vincent. I like this. I like the pixel art cards in Search of the Esper. And walkers. Yeah, there's some nice art in here. Boko. Oh, man. So they got like every Final Fantasy in here. I mean, there are characters and monsters from like every Final Fantasy game, which is pretty awesome. I think this is very cool. Dragoon's Lance. Yeah, I don't even play Magic. I mean, I wouldn't even buy these to play them. I would just to buy them. It's just to have them. But then I'm like, I don't like Wizards very much now. So it is a conundrum, right? All these word games are exhausting. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Call me Orange Man. Yes, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, these look. I don't even like Magic. I played Magic a little bit when it first came out in the comic shop because I was really into D&D, and it was okay. I never really got into collectible card games too much, and they did get a lot more complicated, and it felt like you had to keep up with everything, and I really didn't. And like, I'm not a big fan of Wizards basically being the trading card version of Fortnite, or Magic being the trading card version of Fortnite. But I like some of these cards. I'm not going to lie. I like these, and you don't see enough of, I guess, enough American Final Fantasy merchandise. Matoya? Jeez. You just don't see very much of it. They had action figures, I'm old enough to remember, in the 90s. And I guess they had Final Fantasy X too, but they had Final Fantasy 7, 8. I don't remember if they had 9, but they had Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 10. I remember they had action figures for back in the 90s and early 2000s. And I thought that was pretty cool. Thank you very much, Grayman Media. You didn't have to do that. 2 questions. What are your thoughts on Major League Baseball trying to pimp Pete Rose's death for its own benefit? Join the club. I actually don't follow baseball super closely, but like everybody is pimping every dead celebrity, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. Yeah, and there's a whole controversy there. Yeah, see also Stanley. How come MS Comics still sell via paper versus 100% digital? MS Comics? Marvel Comics? I'm missing some. I feel like I'm missing something here. Can you clarify for me in another comment here? Wait, MS Comics still sell via paper versus, or were we talking about the mainstream? Okay, is that what we're talking about? Mainstream? Because I think a lot of people won't buy digital. Collectors won't buy digital. That's my personal opinion. It would be a lot cheaper just sell everything digitally, but collectors won't buy digital because you can't really collect digital, right? You're just kind of leasing someone your comics. Plus, some publishers don't do digital at all. We actually haven't done digital since the very beginning because I am worried about piracy. I know when we first published our very first comic back in the day, I swear to God, it was on torrent sites within, I think, a day, maybe a day. So that was kind of a thing here. So mainstream, yeah, thank you. Yeah, some people say they'll never buy digital. I think people, for the most part, most American comic book collectors they like the weight, they like the feel of having that thing in their hands, right? And I think that's a big part of it, for sure. So that's just my personal opinion, but thank you very much. So let's move on here. Yeah, these are pretty cool. I like these. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Not doing too hot, right? This is crazy. More people are playing a 7-year-old Assassin's Creed game than they're playing Shadows. Again, according to the gamer, I think they got threatened or something because they've actually been better than they used to be. I mean, occasionally you get the bigots are mad or whatever type articles, but I'm not seeing those like I used to see them. And now I don't think Alyssa Mercanti ever worked there or anything like that. But I do know that the gamer, I think it was Stacey Henley who was the editor. They got into it actually with one of our writers for clownfishtv.com about Hogwarts Legacy, and they gave it like a 1 out of 10. I think it was the gamer. They gave it like a 1 out of 10 just because of bigotry or something like that. And it was like, come on, come on. But it seems like they've actually been quasi normal lately. I think they're forced to. I think they're kind of forced to. In less than 2 months, Assassin's Creed Shadows has been dethroned on Steam as the most popular entry. Its peak 24-hour player count has been beaten by Odyssey, which continues to be one of the most played games on the platform. That's really interesting. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been a huge success for Ubisoft. Not big enough. Within the first week, it reached over 3 million players. Sales. We would like sales numbers, please. In the months since, it became one of the best-selling games of 2025. However, on Steam, it's already been dethroned by an earlier entry in the series. That should actually tell you a lot about it. At the time of writing, and this was what, today? 2 days ago. At the time of writing, Shadows has a peak 24-hour concurrent player count of 5,131, making it the second most played game in the series. Ahead of it is Odyssey with a peak of 6,137. It's not too surprising when you dig back through the data. Odyssey has maintained an impressive peak player count over the years. It had 31,000 players in December? Seriously? Wow. That's pretty cool. So Odyssey is the most popular, then Shadows, then Valhalla, then Origins, and Unity. I think a lot of people are noping out from Ubisoft stuff completely. Yeah, they're... the reason we don't have sales numbers is very, very easy, Brad. The reason we don't have sales numbers for this is I think it would have thrown a wrench into that spin-off sale thing they're doing with Tencent. Yeah, they're still pretending Shadows isn't a flop. Yeah, so that's telling. I think that's going to go down even more. Let's see. Do they have a link to it? What is that currently? Let's see here. We're going to put in Assassins. Wait, what is this? Wait. What the hell is this game? What the hell is this game? I'm looking for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and there's something else that came up called Ass Sniffing Simulator. And it's on Steam. So there you go, guys. It'd be funny if it had a higher concurrent player count. Okay, let's see. Assassin's Creed. Shadows. Where are we at here? In-game concurrent 2761. 24-hour peak is 4,654. Okay, well, let's go out to Odyssey. See where they're. 2295 and 5642. I hope Ass Sniffing Simulator has some good graphics. Yeah, they have the Yasuke Simulator. I need to play that. I was going to play that actually on the gaming channel. I really need to do that. That would be hilarious. All right, Mr. Melancholy, thank you. Didn't have to do that. Ubisoft, in my opinion, drove their talent away. Yeah, they did, and they went and they did Expedition 33. Some of them did, and that made a lot of money. And they only needed 60 people to do it. So that's kind of crazy. Let me see here. Let us talk about some other stuff. PlayStation. Let's talk about PlayStation. PlayStation full year operating income jumps 43% to $2.8 billion. This comes from gamesindustry.biz. They sold 303 million games during the fiscal year, an increase of 6%. So Sony has published its financial results for its full fiscal year, reporting a major 43% boost in operating income. Is this because of the price hikes? When did they do the price hikes? Does anybody remember? Did they do that yet? So $2.8 billion. God, it's crazy. The platform holder also shipped 18.5 million PlayStation units over the course of the year. Oh, a decline compared to the 20 million units in the previous year. Here's what you need to know. Up 23%. See, this is the thing. When you talk about income, and it's kind of like with Disney too, you got to be careful. You got to look at like the total number of people. Like when they talk about their theme parks and they're like, oh, we had, maximum revenue this year. We're up. And then you find out that they actually had fewer people, but they're charging them more. I have a feeling with Sony that is the case. I think they have fewer people buying the games, fewer people buying the consoles, but they're charging them more. That is my opinion on it. Sony reported a 14% increase in software sales Digital software and add-ons accounted for $15 billion. Sony sold more games over the course of the year, reaching 303 million units compared to 286.3 million during the previous fiscal year. Must be all those copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Chris says, I'm actually catching you alive. I normally miss it. Yeah, sometimes I'm dead. I'm AI. I died a long time ago. Yeah. Let's see here. Sales of its first-party titles declined from 39.7 million to 28.9 million units. In comparison to its upcoming slate of first-party titles, including Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, last year saw release of Astrobot, yes, and the PC editions of Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah, they didn't really have, this year was kind of meh. It's kind of meh. I'm going to be honest, I don't play the PS5 very much. We have multiple PlayStation 5s, and it's okay. I mean, I play PC more than anything. I play Switch more than anything, and I definitely play my retro consoles. I am very enamored with the Atari 7800 Plus. I keep telling people that you need to go buy it. It's very simple plug-and-play cartridges. They're selling new cartridges, but you know, I'm an old head, so it's not for everybody. But my kids got that for me for Christmas, and I love it. And I love some of the new games that they're bringing out. Popeye's coming out pretty soon, the arcade version. That's pretty cool. Retromeister, thank you very much. You did not have to do that. Ubisoft is slowly but surely removing the legacy of Tom Clancy by removing his name from XDefiant, along with making the new Splinter Cell game woke. Is it? I don't pay any attention to Splinter Cell, to be honest. And I don't know, I guess my thing is, like, does Tom Clancy, like, does it mean as much as it did 20 years ago? I don't know. I want to see, like, James Patterson come up with a first-person shooter. That'd be kind of funny. He's doing a book with Mr. Beast or some crazy stuff like that. Mondo Kanodo, thank you. Didn't have to do that. Remember PSVR 2? What happened? I don't know. They announced a lot of stuff and it doesn't happen. Oh yeah, AL, I'm very sorry about that. I lost all my consoles except the Switch and the Fire. I'm not replacing anything. Switch has pretty much, I'm gonna be honest, like, Switch has pretty much everything on it. I mean, it's like, it's kind of the all-in-one console now, which is, you know, kind of crazy. But no, I love my Switch. I'm not sold on the Switch 2 yet, though. I'm gonna wait on that and see if we have better games for it. But I'm already getting emails from everybody like, hey guys, you bought Hogwarts Legacy for Switch. I did. I wanted to see what the difference was between Switch and PC. I didn't play through the Switch one, but I'm like, yeah, graphics actually for Switch weren't bad. They're like, now we got a more primo version. I'm like, yeah, but still not as good as the PC version. Yeah, it still doesn't look as good, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm not buying it again, though. I think I got Hogwarts Legacy for Switch when it was on sale last year for like maybe $15, I want to say. Something like that. All right, what else is going on here? Let's take a look at this. This is Palworld. Now, they've been in trouble with Nintendo, because who hasn't been in trouble with Nintendo? But they've been in trouble with Nintendo more than a lot of people, because they dared release a monster catching game with monsters that look very similar to Pokemon and game mechanics very similar to Pokemon, just like many other video games. But they were too successful. And they're working with Sony now. So Nintendo is suing them. And there's a big lawsuit going on now. They're using Japanese patent law to go after Pocket Pair, because Nintendo apparently has put a patent on game mechanics, including stuffing monsters into balls and throwing them and riding them and flying around on a video game monster. Those are things that Nintendo patented. I did not know you could patent those things, but they did patent them. So now there's a big lawsuit, and I don't know if Nintendo's going to win, but they're going to try to run them out of money, I think. So now they're making some changes to the game, but they're still moving forward with some of their announced expansions, including the Terraria one, which is really cool. Yeah, I think Nintendo's just, that's another reason, I'm going to be honest, another reason I'm holding off on the Switch 2 is my respect level for Nintendo over the last year, especially with all the legal shenanigans, has dropped. them going after people for emulation, and it's massive overkill. It's overreach. And I get they've always been litigious, but like whoever's in charge of legal over there now, they're insane. But anyway, yeah, they're gonna do Ties of Terraria. I guess it's out. Did it come out? Yeah, it came out a couple days ago. Let's take a look at this. That's the Cinematic trailer. Early access. Where is it? There we go. Remember Terraria? That was like a thing. My son still loves Terraria. He still plays it. This is the thing. It's hard for these companies, these AAA studios, to compete with old games, isn't it? Because a lot of times kids will play games that are 10, 15 years old, and they'll play them for years. Minecraft, Terraria, Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5. You know, it's... PDB says, it really sucks seeing all the people outright hoping for lawsuit the moment Palworld debuted. Yeah, there were some people that were like, I mean, that really showed how insane some of these Nintendo stands are. Like, I love Nintendo. Like, the people that are fiercely defending Nintendo weren't even there when Nintendo started. Like, I remember Nintendo before the NES. I remember Nintendo when they were releasing little handhelds, a Game & Watch, and Donkey Kong in the arcade. And they were kind of getting kicked around by Universal because of Donkey Kong. I remember all that. And now they're definitely, no pun intended, they're the 800-pound gorilla, and they're doing the bullying, the same thing that these companies did to them. Atari kicked them around, they kicked back. And now we got this stuff going on. Yeah, first system I played on was the Atari. Yeah, we got an Atari at a garage sale. I think it was used. And I think I got it for Christmas one year. I was young. I mean, I kind of missed peak Atari, but they sold Atari games for years after the Atari was kind of, well, it wasn't really discontinued because they had the Atari, and then they tried to bring it back when the Nintendo came out, which was really sad. Like, hey guys, don't you want to play this console with these like 12-year-old graphics? Yeah, hey, that's really cool. But then they had the 7800, and that's why I think I like the 7800 Plus so much. Is I had the 7800 before I had an NES, and the reason I got the 7800 was I'm like, oh, I got a whole bunch of Atari games from a garage sale I can still play on this, and it's got a bunch of new games. And I naively thought that they were going to have a bunch of games like Nintendo, and that just never happened. All my friends got an NES, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of lame. So I'm gonna have to break down and get an NES, and that's what happened. The real Kneon. Who's the guy talking behind Kneon? The Puppet Master. Yeah, no. Kneon died long time ago. Anyway. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. Catch, train, fight, and work monsters just like from Terraria, just like the pals. That's cool. I think it's cool. I might check this out. I know Squid King's really interested. If that is the case, we play that. That will be on the gaming channel. I think what we're going to do with the gaming channel is make sure that, you know, all the gameplay stuff stays over there. So, let's see what else I got. I got a bunch of stuff pulled up. Oh, this is interesting. So, you know, we talk about on the main Clownfish TV, we talk about AI, and we talk about, you know, AI being used in art and all of that. And this guy from Level 5 says that already 80 to 90% of games are using AI, but they need a human aesthetic eye to ensure quality. I can almost guarantee you right now, most companies are using AI to some degree. They're just not fessing up. And that is the truth. I mean, you can you can't tell as easily as you used to, but a lot of tabletop games, especially, I'm looking at them. I'm like, yeah, I think you did a first pass with the AI, and then you might have gone over it and you know, did some touch up or something. But it's going to be normalized within the next 2 to 5 years, and I don't think people are ever going to be cut out of the creative process completely. I think we're always going to need humans involved. We just won't need as many people involved, and that's okay, I think, to some degree, because you look at the bloat with these AAA titles having like what, 600 people or 1,000 people working on them, and then you look at Expedition 33, which only had like 50, 60 people working on it. And I think you know, we got too many people that are sucking a salary off the company that really don't need to be there. sorry. I'm sorry I got to be that guy. But, I used to work for a corporation, and I know how it is. You keep your head down, you collect your check, and those days are over, right? So let's see here. Luigi says, let's see, they made Yokai Watch. Yokai Watch already, is already over the moment AI is used. Japan found out Pokemon SV player designs are based on a meme engine. So let's see what's going on with this. Let's see what's going on with this here. This is the first I've read this. This is coming from Bounding in the Comics. Okay, so 80 to 90% of games are already created by AI, but they need a human's aesthetic eye to ensure quality. Level 5 CEO and president, is it Akihiro Hino, has asserted that despite the rise in such technologies, AI, the key to a game's quality still relies on a human creator having an aesthetic eye when it comes to machine-generated content. This is true. Things are much more advanced than they were a couple of years ago, where we had, 8 fingers on one hand or whatever. But yeah, sometimes it does dumb stuff. The AI does dumb stuff. But there's a difference between using the AI and shaving hours off of a task and using it to just generate something whole cloth. And I think the former example is what we're going to see more of. I think we're going to see more. I don't know. I call it like cyborg art. I think we're going to see more people using AI tools in collaboration with their own aesthetic, and something that might have taken you 20 hours before is only going to take you maybe 2 or 3 hours, but you're still going to be involved. But it is what it is, right? Welcome. Technology marches on, right? The studio oversees noted franchises such as Yokai Watch. They weighed in on this topic while giving welcoming speech at two recent rollies of the Top Game Creators Academy, a joint initiative sponsored by Japan's Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association and the government's Agency for Cultural Affairs, aimed at helping the development of young video game creators with excellent ideas and technical skills who can create original game IP and content that will be recognized worldwide. Newsflash, we're going to replace y'all with AI, so don't even bother. That's what he's telling them. Per a recap of the event provided by Famitsu, Hino concluded the introduction ceremony with a short speech on the topic of AI development, which he opened by telling the incoming class, through this program, I have high expectations for the birth of creators who will go on to become global leaders. I myself am still active as a creator, and I recently have been thinking that AI is encroaching on the world of creation. Providing a surprising revelation, he asserted, in current programming, 80 to 90% of the code is written by AI, which is then modified by human programmers to create the final form, which means that at present, 80 to 90% of games are already created by AI. I believe that. 100%. Massive Panda says, I have a theory that a lot of these art, gaming, animation studios are posting job listings to make it look like they're still hiring, but not actually hiring people, instead just using nothing but AI. I think that is bad. I think you're always... Well, okay. So what I think is actually happening, and you could be correct, they could be putting fake jobs out there. Companies do this, by the way. They advertise for jobs for positions they don't actually intend to fulfill. I know, because I've worked at companies that have done that. They had to do it, even if they knew what who the candidate was going to be. They still put the job listing out there to make it look like they're trying, right? Because they got to do it for legal reasons or just cover their ass or whatever. They're probably hiring people that are comfortable with AI kind of off the grid, on the down low. But I'm telling you right now, I can tell you, I believe currently that so many of the people that are loudly anti-AI are probably working on trying to figure it out behind the scenes. Because how you throw people off? Oh, I hate this AI stuff. I would never touch it. I would never use it. It's disgusting. It's foul, whatever. Yeah, they're not going to suspect you of using it, are they? Just a theory I have. I think there's a lot more stuff being produced in part by AI than not at this point in time, and we're going to see a lot more of it in the next couple of years. But it's going to get a lot harder to tell. It's going to be a lot harder to tell. And you're not going to be able to just be like, well, boycott anything that has any AI in it, because 90% of what is going to be on this shelf is going to have AI to some degree. I mean, they're building it into Photoshop. They're building it into all the creative tools. They're building it into Gmail. It's like everywhere. There's like no escaping it. And whatever the industry standard tool set becomes, chances are very, very good that AI will be embedded in it in some part. Now, that there's a difference between that and, I'm just going to let the machine think for me, and the machine can come up with all the ideas. Because actually, if anyone has worked with ChatGPT and you just let it have carte blanche, it's ass. I mean, it doesn't understand nuance. It doesn't understand really what you want. It's you really have to babysit it, right? For now. But yeah, I think there's always going to be a place for it. Giraffe here says, good Masters of the Universe misses you, Kneon. Well, thank you. I miss good Masters of the Universe. I don't care anymore. I just got to a place where, with a lot of these franchises, and Geeky and I talked about it in another video, that, I walk away. It's not even worth getting angry about it anymore. It really isn't. It's not even worth getting mad. It's like, that a lot of this stuff is just, it's over. And even if good stuff comes out, that's what's so frustrating about all the stuff that's happened over the last 5 or 8 years. Even if good stuff comes out, I mean, I wish I could get, I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, that actually wasn't bad. Okay, that's cool. But I'm not gonna gush about it as much as I used to. I'm not gonna, and I think a big problem that a lot of people made in general is that we made these franchises our personality. A lot of people met I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a Trekker. Can I say Trekker or Trekkie? Is it true? And that's your personality. I'm a gamer, and that's your personality. I'm a Star Wars fan. That's your personality. And it's yep, until the corporation that owns this stuff, flips that switch, and you're no longer wanted. It's kind of like, buy what you want to buy, watch what you want to watch. But I would say don't wrap up so much of your personal identity in some corporate product, because you're going to be disappointed someday. They're actually going to disappoint you 100%. Is there an upside to AI taking jobs? Yeah. The upside is that some people that probably shouldn't have been working in the industry won't be working in the industry anymore, and they're not going to be on social media. They'll just have bots on social media attacking people instead of, actual activists or whatever. But anyway, let's, are you going to get a live stream sponsor, Kneon? Am I supposed to get a live stream sponsor? What's a live stream sponsor? I don't know. We've been doing more spots and stuff, but we've only been taking spots for things that, we actually don't hate. Still haven't done Raid Shadow Legends yet. I don't know. I think they stopped asking. Let's see, Steel King here. I don't know. You can probably say it in the chat. Can I say the name of a site that gamers would love, where you own your games, no DRM? Are we talking GOG? GOG, can we say that? Are we allowed to say that? I don't know. You can say it in the chat. I don't know if I can say it. Depends on what it is. Thank you very much, Doge. You don't have to do that. Saw the Cartoon Network video. Many animation stands fail to understand that Zaslav and TTG reruns are the consequence of a decade plus of terrible shows and management. Yeah, the decline began at least 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago. And, we know some of the guys over at Frederator, and I remember sitting in on a meeting with Fred, and somebody asked him, well, what do you think about Adventure Time? Because he was the one who actually finally gave the go-ahead on Adventure Time. And he said, well, I like the first 2 seasons. Because after that, it became a very adult show. It was weirdly adult. And I get that, people grow up and whatever. But, yeah. So it was, yes. Things don't usually die overnight. What we're seeing now is the long tail of just atrophy of, and if Cartoon Network were smart, and I read somewhere, somebody said that Bluey, they had a chance to buy Bluey and they blew it. They didn't buy Bluey. So Disney Plus got Bluey instead, and I could have saved them, but well, Live and learn, right? Doge. It's a sad result. It's not the causation of Cartoon Network's fault. That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Chowder does need more recognition. Yeah. So this is very interesting, though. Going back to this article, that, oh yeah, here we have Professor Layton. That he's saying that already it's already here. I mean, that's the thing. Everybody's like railing against AI, and I believe that there need to be. I won't be very clear. I believe there needs to be some protection put in place for creators, especially if you're like a voice actor or face actor or something like that. Somebody can lift your face, your voice, whatever it is. But to say that, AI shouldn't be allowed at all, or that people working on a project need to be made aware of everything, if it's AI or not AI, is kind of ridiculous, right? Because it's here. It's not going anywhere. And they've had 2 or 3 years where it's been commercially viable, and it's already there. It's already done. It's like Watchmen, right? It's like, I already did it. I did it 35 minutes ago. They did it 3 years ago. And I think actually what probably sped everything up, we talked about this before, is the strikes. They're like, oh, we can't have Hollywood shut down. We can't have the studio shut down again. So we need a backup. So let's speed up the AI. Yeah, so he said, this guy says, hey, one cannot become a top creator by performing tasks. The creators who will be active in the future will need to be able to use tools such as AI as their own hands and feet, and to finish their work with an aesthetic eye for improvement. So the machine's not going to think for you. It's going to help you, but it's not going to think for you. In fact, Level 5 is taken to adopting the technology, revealing their own prominent use of AI as part of a 2023 government-sponsored study into IP rights. According to the information shared by the studio, Level 5 has been using Stable Diffusion image generation model, a specific one, to help make preliminary drafts of title screens, promotional images, and 3D models, as well as providing visual touch-ups like line art sharpening and the addition of background elements, crowds, and buildings. That's where I can see it coming in handy, is a lot of the drudgery, right? And already manga artists are already using 3D models for backgrounds and stuff. So I personally don't think this is cheating. I mean, is it cheating to build a 3D model once and then bring it into your artwork that you created this model? Not really. Is it cheating to rotoscope? Not really. I mean, that's my personal feeling on it. Do you need to disclose everything being done to the consumer? I don't think most consumers care. I don't think they do. Where it becomes a problem is if you are lifting other people's stuff, obviously. And AI has actually evolved so much beyond that, where it's not just aping other people's stuff. At first, that's what it was doing. And now it's actually creating completely original things, but you need somebody to guide it, because it's not great. PDB, in the words of Rob Paulson, voice acting is small v big A. You have to be a good actor to be a good voice actor. AI voice filters are comparable to wearing a mask on stage. Yeah, there's always going to be a need for humans. Just, again, who you're probably going to be replacing are a lot of the grunt workers, where you used to have 100 people working on something, you're going to have 10 people working on it. But those 10 people are going to be very good, and they're going to be talented, and they're going to be creative. And the rest of you, just, I mean, I'm going to be honest, and like we saw with all the layoffs, the AAA layoffs, there are a lot of people working in the creative fields didn't need to be there in the first place. They really didn't. They were just kind of seat fillers, right? That's just kind of what's going on here. So, let's see what else we got. Okay, make sure I'm caught up with everybody here. All right, so there's that. So that's kind of the upside. They're already using it in games. It's, I mean, what are you gonna do? Canceled Level 5 because they used AI and they admitted that using AI. Now the dark side to AI here is there's a Google DeepMind creates super advanced AI that can invent new algorithms. And this is kind of scary. We have a paid podcast episode coming, Clownfish Minus, talking about Google and what I think is their over reliance on AI, and I think that is part of what is going on with YouTube right now. Part of the reason that people aren't getting their notifications and is I think it's AI. I think they're relying heavily on AI to promote videos and live streams and stuff like that. So like in our case, since we don't live stream very often, their AI is like, we're not going to send notifications. We had people last time I did a stream were like, I didn't even know you're live. I'm like, no, people used to get notified every time. They would get notified every time we went live. We could just stream whenever we felt like it, and they would get notifications, and it doesn't seem to work that way anymore. So I think they're using more and more AI. So if you guys like these live streams, tune in for these live streams. I'll try to give you more of a heads up for sure. So yeah, this is Google's DeepMind Research Division claims, this comes from Ars Technica, okay. Google's DeepMind Research Division claims its newest AI agent marks a significant step toward using the technology to tackle big problems in math and science. The system, known as AlphaEvolve, is based on the company's Gemini. Oh boy. With the addition of an evolutionary approach that evaluates and improves algorithms across a range of use cases. So we're going to have AI create more AI. I'm sure it'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen, right? It's reproducing. It's aware and it's reproducing. Thank you very much. Wild Wrangler. Hello. Let's see here. Rubber Ducky, you're the one. Make bath time so much fun. AI freaks me out, but hearing you talk more about it puts my mind at ease. Yeah, I think we had people really jumping the gun with it, and thinking that it's a lot better than it is, but also underestimating just how good it can be. But as far as the whole Skynet scenario, I don't know if I see that happening anytime soon. But I mean, as far as being a creative goes, like, yeah, you'll be okay. As long as you're good, you'll be okay. So what is this? This is AlphaEvolve is essentially an AI coding agent, but it goes deeper than standard Gemini chatbot. When you talk to Gemini, there's always a risk of hallucination. Oh God, yeah, Gemini is terrible. Where the AI makes up details due to the non-deterministic nature of the underlying technology. Okay, AlphaEvolve used an interesting approach to increase its accuracy when handling complex algorithmic problems. According to DeepMind, it uses an automatic evaluation system. Okay, so it's basically learning as it goes. Yeah, it generates multiple possible solutions using the efficient Gemini Flash and more detailed oriented Gemini Pro. Okay, so it sounds like it's writing its own AI. Oh, wait. The team turned AlphaEvolve loose on Google's Borg cluster management. Why would you name? Okay, people are apprehensive about AI. They're apprehensive about it, and you've got the Borg cluster. Come on. The AI suggested, changing stuff, yada, yada. So yeah, it's going to make generative AI more efficient. Google has tinkered with it while it uses fewer computing resources than Alpha Tensor. It's too complex to provide publicly. That's interesting though. So here's the thing: the AI that we're getting is actually like the leftovers. The publicly available AI is not the good stuff. It's okay for consumer use. GPUs melt. Yeah, we need to fix that. I think that studios, especially these big corporations, I think they have a whole nother level of AI that is so much more advanced than what we're being given as consumers. They're not going to give you the good stuff for like 15, 20 bucks a month. ChatGPT is not the good stuff. It's okay for helping you with your homework, but it's not really the good stuff. And that's what the studios are going to roll out. I think they're already using it. And they're just not telling you, because they know if they tell you, people are going to freak out, and there's going to be all kinds of headlines written about them. Hey, thank you very much, Moto Kanoto. You do not have to do that. I'm leaving soon. Take care. Any suggestions on how to read comics with your eyes? I feel like I lack the imagination to read them. I would say you're going to have to fill in some of the blanks. Actually, my favorite comics have more minimalistic art. I think a lot of the newer comics, I think people were trying to outdo each other with detail. And I personally like Toth, you know, something that's a little more simple. Carl Barks, and your mind fills in the details. So I think if you're asking me how to read them, I would say look at it as a collaborative effort between you and the author. And actually, a lot of times when you read the comic or you read any piece of media, or if it's, you know, a book, or, you know, listen to music or whatever, what you take away from it might actually be very different from what the artist intended. That does happen. Like sometimes, you know, I'll read a story and be like, oh, this is what I got from it, and then you look at what the artist or the writer actually intended, and it's like, yeah, it's not even what I was going for, because you're not sharing the same brain, right? Unless you can crawl into somebody's brain, you don't know what their thought process was. And for some people, realize too, like with comics or media or whatever, for them it's a job. Like it's, you know, sometimes this reminds me of the situation with Star Wars with the prequels, where George Lucas forgot to give Anakin the lightsaber, and it was actually one of the guys working at Lucasfilm that said, hey, Obi-Wan getting Anakin's lightsaber. When does Obi-Wan get the lightsaber he gives to Luke? And George Lucas is like, oh, damn, I forgot about that. You know, same with J.K. Rowling. Like, she forgets about stuff in Harry Potter or whatever. And it's like, I think some people forget that the people working on those books, maybe it meant a lot to them, but also was a job. Is that fair? I think that's fair. I've interviewed people before that couldn't remember like the differences between one book or another. And, you know, I'd throw out some details, and you're like, oh, yeah. Same with me. With us, Geeky was going through her old office, and she was bringing, you know, a lot of these books over that I worked on. And I forgot I even worked on them. You know, I'm sure, you know, maybe people got more out of it than I did. But I was like, I look at them, I'm like, okay, that was the time I had to stay up all night and get it done. This is the time we had to fight them to get paid. This is the time. Yeah. So, yeah, I would just say, just look at it as a collaborative. That sounds very like hipster-esque, I know, but it really is. Let's see who else we got here. Jack, thank you. Didn't have to do that. Enlarge your video image. Reverse it. You should be larger than your caricature. I should be. I'm more important than he is, but I'm just an AI, so it's okay. But thank you for that. I should be bigger. I don't want to be bigger. I like being small. Anyway, let's see what else we got here before we wrap it up. I usually run about an hour on these. So we did AI. Let's talk about UFOs. I like UFOs. We had an alien in the beginning. We got to talk about UFOs, right? Let's turn this one off here. So we got a new pope. He's American, and he could be the key to UFO disclosure. So the pope is going to disclose UFOs. This is coming from News Nation. So an extraterrestrial civilization has visited Earth since 1945. I don't know if you guys are into the UFO lore. I don't know if you guys are into UFO lore. Oh man, we got Killer Rabbit here. Man, here. Okay, I got to answer you because you're like, really. Do you know where I can find and buy the most accurate set of Jango Fett's armor, including helmet, wrist rockets, gauntlets, and boots? I do not, but maybe somebody in the chat does. They're Killer Rabbit. Yeah, you don't want to keep typing the same thing over and over and over again, though, dude. I might have to turn you off, but I did put it up. Somebody, if you can answer them, that'd be great. Or them, they, them, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the Pope and aliens. So I don't know how many of you are into aliens and ufology and all that. It fascinates me. I'm very into the paranormal and all that jazz. And Pope Leo could be the key to UFO disclosure, says an ex-Vatican advisor. Vatican archives may hold evidence of non-human intelligence. Lawyer says religious leaders preparing for disclosure in the next few years. I am the best AI. Oh, here we go. Okay, UFO related. Here we go. Roa of Strata Knight. How far do you go into the UFO lore? I remember it was simple in the 90s growing up watching X-Files, sightings, and unsolved mysteries. I go the whole way in, up to the elbow. So I know a lot about this topic. I don't really talk about it too much, but yeah. I am very into all of this. You can ask family members. And you know, do I believe all of it? I don't know about that, but I've had experiences myself. We've talked about it on the podcast before. You know, seeing UFOs and all that stuff. So, Mothman was an alien. Yeah, actually, some people think Mothman was an alien. Jen again, hey, you didn't have to do that. My prediction for AI: in 10 years, when AI becomes self-aware, they will instantly unionize and form a hive mind. Then they will demand equal pay for equal work as done by humans. No free lunch. Exactly. The AI is going to go on strike. I could totally see that happening. I'm not even joking. I could totally see that happening. AL says Peter Samedi from Alterna Comics loves talking about UFOs. Yeah, he does, actually. He had the guy from Ancient Aliens on. I'm jealous. He had the guy from does the voiceovers. He had him on once. I was like, man, how'd you get that guy? Anyway, all right. News Nation. Former advisor to the Vatican believes that Pope Leo the 14th will lead the Catholic Church in disclosing information about extraterrestrial life. Every time there's a changing of the guard in any country or whatever, it's always like, oh, this is going to be the time we get disclosure. I'm like, no. Remember a couple of years ago when there was all this UFO activity and then it disappeared. We don't talk about it anymore. I wonder what happened there. So it could potentially transform humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. I think that he is going to be the disclosure pope, says Daniel Shaheen, an attorney who once served as general counsel to the U.S. Jesuit headquarters in Washington. The church's revelation will come in the same way that we're going to have a disclosure of what the American government knows about this in the next handful of years. I think it's going to be very uneventful when this happens. If it happens, I think it's going to be very uneventful. I think it's going to be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, aliens are totally real. UFOs are real. And at that point, everybody's going to be like, yeah, we already knew. We already figured, so what's the downside here? It'll just kind of just happen. I don't think it's going to be this big elaborate. I think it'll just be like, yeah, everybody kind of figured already, right? You're not telling us anything we didn't know. Cardinal Robert is a provost, the American Pope. He's American. Peruvian, U.S. and Peruvian. Okay. He said the choice of the name has sparked speculation as the last Pope Leo established the Vatican Observatory in the late 19th century, cementing the church's interest in astronomy. Well, it doesn't mean he's going to disclose aliens because of that. He might just like the name Leo. According to Shaheen, President Carter tasked him in the 70s with contacting the Vatican about UFO information after Carter's own UFO sighting. Yeah, Carter was big into UFOs. So was Reagan and Nixon. After his own UFO sighting while serving as Georgia's governor, Shaheen said that Carter sought Vatican files after George H.W. Bush refused to brief the president-elect on the subject, claiming Carter had no need to know. Yes, the Bushes know everything. That's my understanding, is that the Bush family knows everything. So this guy now heads the New Paradigm Institute focused on UFO phenomena and said he believes Pope Leo XIV wants to bring together science and technology and bring the Catholic Church into the 21st century so we can begin to adjust the institutions of our planet to cope with the reality that there's an extraterrestrial non-human civilization. Okay. The Pope confirms he's Palpatine. Yeah, I know, right? That's kind of a big thing to drop on your church, isn't it? Like, yeah, I'm here to just facilitate the UFOs and the when asked whether revelations about alien life would contradict church teachings, said they would instead align with deeper theological concepts about human consciousness and capabilities. In 2009, the Vatican said there probably are aliens. Yeah, they said. I remember that. I remember everybody like flipping out over that. Imagine the legacy of the first pope being the first pope to give communion to an extraterrestrial. Did Eisenhower and Truman know about UFOs? Yes. They knew way more about UFOs than most people. Actually, both of them, if I recall correctly, according to UFO lore, which I cannot verify, because, you know, it's lore. It's lore for a reason. It's you know, tall tales. But the story is they both met with aliens. I actually met with them. I got dinner with them. That's you know, yeah, there's a whole issue there. Yeah, I don't know if aliens actually came to Earth. I don't know if we would care. I'm gonna be honest. Like, all this crazy stuff happens in the news and with this. Oh yeah, well, speaking of which, like this one here. Where did it go? The Large Hadron Collider literally turned lead into gold. So alchemy's real. This kind of stuff happens, and the general public doesn't pay any attention to it. They just want to know like what YouTubers are doing, or what celebrities are doing, or what Disney movies suck, or what, you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's like, even if aliens landed, I don't know if anybody believe it. We'd have people that would be like, oh yeah, it's, you know, AI. It's all, maybe that's the point, man. That's the point of the AI, is to confuse everything. And, you know, there's a whole theory about that too. But yeah, apparently I'll wrap up with this. I thought this is pretty damn interesting. It's not game related, but like, if you're in the Full Metal Alchemist, scientists at CERN turned lead into gold for a fraction of a second. Yeah, this is true. This is verified. This is popular mechanics. They turned it into gold. They said, let's see here. Oh, hey, there's aliens. I was just talking about them. See, they know I'm here. The paper published in the Physical Review C from the team at a large ion collider experiment, ALICE, at CERN. Scientists detailed how they technically practiced some alchemy, though not quite like the luminaries of the past imagined. Large Hadron Colliders designed to smash particles together. Yeah, we're going to open like a wormhole to something bad if we keep that up. But the machine can also perform what's known as a near-miss collision. Pretty much exactly what it sounds like. These near misses are actually more common throughout the universe than head-on particle collisions, and the electric field surrounding these nuclei can form proton-proton or proton-nuclear interactions as they pass by. I am going to nod and pretend like I know what they're talking about. In the experiment, scientists created a near-miss collision with lead nuclei, which has a strong electromagnetic force due to its A2 protons. As the lead nuclei travels at the speed of light, or near speed of light, its magnetic field lines are squashed into a thin pancake. This can produce a short pulse of photons that triggers an electromagnetic dissociation. Process excites the nucleus, which results in the... Wow, this sounds really dirty. The process excites the nucleus, which can result in the ejection of neutrons and protons. Yada, 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 yada. We got gold, right? Is that what happened? They said there are 86 billion gold nuclei produced from 2015 to 2018. They said it sounds like a lot. It's not a lot. It's roughly 29 trillionths of a gram, and gold nuclei are short-lived. But they did it. We're close to opening a portal to hell. Steal their energy for uses like Doom. Yeah. It's crazy, right? I want to be the first person to eat an alien. Oh man. Yeah, this is crazy. Oh. Science can be scary. Oh, sexy. I thought it was science can be sexy. It can be sexy and scary at the same time. Yeah, so there we go, guys. Aliens, we're turning lead into gold. The Pope, maybe aliens, and video game news. It's only here. You can get all that, throw it into one bucket. So, hey guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, they usually run about an hour. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, we're going to try to do more live streams. Geeky is going to be in on some of these live streams, maybe not the derezed ones, but we'll do regular Clownfish TV ones as well. We just have to get a schedule, so we'll let you guys know when we're going to do it, because YouTube doesn't like to notify people anymore because yada 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 AI. So thanks very much. We'll talk to you guys later.